Hello, I'm Linda Binns, and I recently published my newest book, Value Me, Benefits of Being a Highly Sensitive Professional. And I'm going to be doing a series of weekly videos walking you through some of the content of the book to make it more useful and meaningful. And I also want to point out that although I did write this book for highly sensitive people, and yes, it is particularly to help them to be happier and more fulfilled at work, what I share in this book actually applies to anyone and really any situation, as you'll see with this series of videos. Now, for this first video, I'll start right at the beginning with the first chapter, Know and Accept Yourself. This is page 1, so let me read it to you. Self-awareness is important for everyone, and it is particularly important for us as HSPs, highly sensitive people. We often complain because others who are not highly sensitive don't understand us and make us feel wrong for being who we are. This is definitely true for many, and if you want to change, then it has to start with you knowing yourself at the deepest levels. Elaine Aron, clinical research psychologist and author of The Highly Sensitive Person, says, in today's temperament-ignorant social climate, if we claim we are different, we are thought to be weird, whiny, or arrogant. If we just try to do our work differently without explaining ourselves, people tell us we are going about our work wrong or ineffectively. So this is not entirely your personal problem, it is a social problem in that you are not understood or appreciated. So no, it isn't fair, but it is the way things are. Elaine Aron also goes on to say, until the work world changes, the problem of the kind of work you do as an HSP and the workplace where you do it is your problem to solve, fair or not. The first task is to fully appreciate yourself as an HSP. Then you must teach others to appreciate your sensitivity. This is a wonderful change in perspective from it's not fair to what an opportunity HSPs have to develop awareness. So let me ask, how well do you really know yourself? Let me share a quick story with you to show what I mean by this, because what I thought I knew about myself has completely changed, and often the more adamant I am that I can't do something or that I won't like something, well, the exact opposite proves to be true. So yes, I am highly sensitive and I'm an introvert, and I was always happy behind the scenes. I never wanted to be the center of attention. I thought I had nothing to say that anyone would be particularly interested in. And I had worked for years in supportive roles as a secretary, an administrative assistant, office manager, department manager, and so on. And I was really very good at anticipating other people's needs and making sure they were successful. Now, when I started my business over 20 years ago, it was a big challenge for me, because suddenly I wasn't supporting anyone else. I was the focal point of my business. Now, one of the things that I did to help my business get off the ground was to go to business networking events. It seemed as though at that time all of the meetings were a long way away from where I lived, and there were several of us who used to travel miles several times a month to go to these meetings. One day, I was having lunch with my friend and business colleague, Karen, and she also had to travel in order to go to these meetings. And I had been thinking to myself how wonderful it would be if we had a group that was closer in our area. And I also thought she would be the ideal person to create this group because she was a great networker and she knew so many people. And I knew that if she did, I would be able to support her. So I suggested this, what I thought was a great idea, to Karen. And I told her that I would be very happy to help. But her response was not what I expected at all. She told me that I should start a group. Obviously, she didn't understand this was not something I could do. I laughed and I told her how impossible that was, that I had no idea how to do that. But I'd be very happy to support someone else who did know how to do it. But Karen was having none of it. And she told me, and I'll never forget this, she said how I was powerful and that I could do this. I sat back stunned because clearly she had the wrong idea about me. Clearly she didn't know that I was incapable of such a thing. Well, after that meeting, the idea just wouldn't leave my head. You know how when something just keeps going round and round in your head and you can't get rid of it? Well, eventually something dawned on me. I had the thought that although I really didn't know how to start such a group, I knew several people who did know. I also knew that one of my skills was organizing and bringing people together. So I decided to give it a try, and I invited a few of the women that I trusted the most to come together and have a discussion about it. Well, it took us about a year, but we ended up creating a professional women's organization. It was called Encouraging, Supporting, Promoting Women, ESPW. And it was one of the most successful networking organizations of its time. We had over 200 people who showed up to our first meeting, and within 5 months we had 200 members. It was amazing. Now, the founding members, the group persuaded me to be the president of the organization, and through this whole process and experience, I actually discovered that what I had believed about myself was not at all true. I thought I needed to stay in the background in a supportive role, and I discovered that the opposite was true. I had a tremendous skill in putting together all the right people to create the group, and I discovered I had the skills and the ability to actually make a good organization president. So I have used what I've learned from that experience to move me in directions and to accomplish things I never thought I could. I'm a published author, a professional speaker now. I founded and sold a magazine. I run a practitioner training school for many years. So what I thought I knew about myself turned out to be all wrong. I didn't really know myself at all. I think we all have opportunities to learn new things about ourselves all the time. Sometimes we don't know what we're capable of until we try something new. Perhaps something we've been resisting, like I was. So if you want others to value and appreciate you, then you first have to value and appreciate yourself. And that takes knowing yourself, being willing to learn about yourself, and then accepting what you find. I could have continued to hold on to the belief that I wasn't supposed to be the center of attention, that I didn't know how to start a group, that I was supposed to stay in the background and support someone else. I had that choice. But I am so very happy that I took the risk and learned new things about myself. So I'll ask you again, how well do you really know yourself? And are you willing to learn more about who you really are and then to accept what you find? You are unique. You have value. You have a combination of skills, talents, abilities, and experiences that nobody else has. So I invite you to make a commitment to learning more about yourself. And if you'd like to read the book, well, it is available on Amazon. It's called Value Me, Benefits of Being a Highly Sensitive Professional. Thank you.